Hello, welcome back. It's been a minute because I didn't want to listen to this piece of shit album. Here we go, folks. If that gives you any indication of what my opinion of this album happens to be, welcome back to the Pink Floyd Completion Project. This is Ummagumma. And once again, I took notes over a page worth. I've never done that for anything in my life. Here we are. So the live disc, the version of Astronomy Donomy, it has a cool organ intro, probably because they didn't have the technology to perfectly recreate the Morse code opening live on the stage yet, because they had that figured out by '94. It's, again, the song is good. The quality of this version of the song comes from the fact that Astronomy Donomy is a good song. There's no reason for it to be 8.5 minutes long. And that's like the shortest thing on the live disc of this album. Like, it is so bad. Careful with that Axe Eugene, arguably the only reason to buy this album at all. Like, it's cool, it's 9 minutes of psychedelic shit. Roger's scream launches into a breakdown very similar to the end by the Doors whenever John Densmore does that. On the end by the Doors, and then, Ray Manzarek and the guitarist, I forgot his name, kind of follow and start picking up the tempo and shit. There's kind of a moment similar to that on this version of Astronomy Donomy. Set the controls for the Heart of the Sun. It is 10 minutes long for no reason. It's double the length of the studio version of the song. I don't need that version to be 10 minutes long. And on top of that, it cuts out before the conclusion of the song. It turns into ambient nothing in the second half as well. It's not a good version of Set the Controls. I don't like it. And then, Saucer Full of Secrets, like the original 12 Minutes of Man. If you want my thoughts on the song, A Saucer Full of Secrets, go watch my review of the album, A Saucer Full of Secrets. Again, no reason for me to talk about that. Now, yeah. And I also wrote, this is what that dude from Top of the Pops, the guy who's like, why does it have to be so terribly loud? This is what he thought all of their music sounded like. Oh my god. So now we get to the studio disc, Sisyphus, which is, okay, for the studio disc, everybody decided, if the wind starts interfering, I am sorry. I hope I don't have to record this again. If I do, I'll just fucking do it tomorrow. But for the studio disc of this album, all of the band members decided that every band member is going to come up with 10 to 15 minutes of material. That's like half a record side, right? So Rick's contribution is called Sisyphus. It's split into 4 parts. It's got this grand opening. This is a strong start for the studio disc. It's a strong start. It gets thrown down the shitter immediately because the part 3 is part 2 is Rick doing his warm-ups and going insane. It sounds like he's doing his warm-ups in the first half of part 2, and then it just goes into incoherent shit. And then part 3 is just 2 minutes of plinky plonky sounds, and it's fucking irritating. I don't like it. It's shit. Alright, part 4 is it's back to coherence. It sounds like Moonchild, like the ambient section of Moonchild, which is the majority of that song by King Crimson. Rick, and then Rick falls asleep at the wheel. Apparently, he goes back to being shitty. Oh god, Grantchester Meadows. This is Roger's first of 2 contributions. It's 7 minutes it's an acoustic 7.5 minute number. It starts with bird sounds and shit. It's bad. The lyrics suck. you know, and Roger's voice is more pleasant than it is later down the line. We'll get there when we get there. But dear God. And then several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave and grooving with a pick. This is the 1969 equivalent of a shitpost. You know those videos where it's like just people making stupid fucking noises? That's what it is. That's what it is for like 5 minutes. Like, and this is Roger's second contribution. It also, like, in the last 2 minutes, Roger just starts doing, or like the last minute and a half, Roger just starts going insane, doing this, you know, Scottish rant thing, and he references The Wind Cries Mary for some reason, which is a good song. I'd much rather be listening to that than several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave and grooving with a pick. And yes, that's the full fucking title of the song. It's not good. This, like, I spent an hour and a half listening to this album today, ladies and gentlemen. I will never get that fucking time back. The Narrow Way. This is Dave's contribution. Dave. Like, again, it's like a 13-minute thing put together. Part 1, it's like I wrote, yay, more acoustic shit, you know, like, and then it goes insane in the last minute of part 1. Part 2 is weirdly angry, and then once again goes incoherent in the second half. And then part 3, you finally get lyrics, but sadly they suck. But Rick and Dave harmonize, and that's always a treat. That's always a fucking power weapon, or that becomes like a fucking power play later in some of their albums. Like even if Rick and Dave are singing shitty lyrics, at least they can, like, make it sound somewhat decent, right? And then the Grand Vizier's garden party. This is Nick's contribution, and of the 4 or 5 individual pieces, I guess this one feels the most mercifully short. It's not technically the shortest thing on the album, on any disc. It fucking feels like it, thank God. Doesn't mean it's good. It's just that it's Nick tuning his drums for like 8 minutes, like with a flute intro and outro by his wife. Like that's what the Grand Vizier's garden party is. It's like, it's not good. You get a rare Nick drum solo. That's it. That's the only thing of value you get from this album. What would I rate this album out of 10? Like 0.25 maximum. The only thing that could save this album is maybe, Careful with That Axe Eugene. That's like the only reason to own this at all. Like, I do not recommend this. Like, no, there's 2 reasons to own this. One is if you are a Floyd completionist. It's like the legitimate reason to own this, but not really. And 2 is like if you like Careful with That Axe Eugene or incoherent shit. It's avant-garde, and some people would just be like, oh, you're too simple to like this. It's not that I'm too simple. I just don't like it. I think it's shit. Alright? Avant-garde music is shit. It's fucking around with your instruments for no goddamn reason. So that's where I'm gonna leave this one. I don't know how long this is. Next time we're gonna take a look at the first solo album of this series. Bet you weren't expecting that this early. Neither was I, in all honesty. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. If you want to see me talk about stuff that isn't music, I have a podcast. It's called Dorkies. I'll leave a link in the description. If you want to continue down this journey with me, subscribe. And if you want to hear whatever I happen to be listening to that day, or a 15-second segment of at least, follow me on Instagram at Sean_Heaster1979. I'm going to thank you all very much for watching. I will see you in the next one, which I hope to have out much sooner. Goodbye.